Steve Costello. Good to see you again. I'm also one of the founding members, there are two of us, of the Wired for Success group. And we're a group who work with young people. If you look back on our YouTube videos, you'll find more about what we do, who we are, and so on and so on. Today, I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I'm going to talk about rebirth, creativity, and a few related things. Why am I talking about rebirth? Well, it seems appropriate right now. It's Easter. Well, it was Easter, excuse me, it was Easter Monday yesterday. Whether you celebrate or not, let's think about rebirth for a moment. I had a client recently, and I know she doesn't mind me talking about this, who was having some problems moving forward. And the reason why she was having the problems moving forward were because she didn't want to offend anybody in a wider family, because she would have been doing something that they didn't entirely support. Maybe they didn't agree with it. She thought they wouldn't agree with it. So because of feelings for people who mattered, she didn't move forward in her life, and that created other problems. And we had to work at those things. And we worked at those things using three things. We worked mindfully. So we looked at things without judgment. We looked at things with curiosity. We worked a little bit with psychological therapies, a little bit, I say, because there was only a little bit required. And we worked with coaching as well. So we had three things going on, which enabled her ultimately to move forward and to, in a sense, become reborn, to have a rebirth of her ideas, a rebirth of her plans, a rebirth of her ways forward. And one of the things that had been bothering her as well was stress. The stress was created because of the way she was thinking about all the things that could go wrong. In a way, she was inviting all these things to go wrong. She was constantly thinking, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? It will go wrong. It will go wrong. And some things did go wrong. When she changed her thinking, things started to work themselves out. Things started to go the way she wanted them to go. So it was a very positive time. So I'm a bit croaky today, Paul. Let's not worry about it. So we were talking about creating her ideal future. And I'm sure we pretty much all want one of those, don't we? What's our ideal future? What's your ideal future? Just stop for a moment and think about it. Your super, super ideal future. Nothing can get in the way of it. This is the way it's going to be. What I would invite you to do at the end of this video is take a sheet of paper or do it on a screen. It doesn't really matter as long as you have access to it. Is type out or write down what your ideal future looks like. This isn't a very mindful thing to do in some respects, because I'm asking you to look into the future and think about what your ideal future might look like. So once you've defined your ideal future, step back and think, okay, that's the ideal future. It'll take a year, 2 years, 3 years to get there, whatever you estimate it to be. So work backwards to today. What step do you need to take today towards your ideal future? What step do you need to take this time next week? And the week after, the month after that, and so on and so on. So in other words, plan out the steps that you think you need to take to achieve your ideal future. Okay, you'll make some mistakes. You'll have to adjust and adapt, make some alterations, changes, whatever, and that's all okay. The key is taking those steps, because once you start to take those steps, it becomes a very positive moving train. It doesn't want to stop. It just wants to keep going. And you're the driver. It's up to you to keep driving. So think about it. Now, this Thursday, I have no idea what the date is. Hang on 1 minute. 20th, 21st, I think it's the 21st of April, marks the day of International Creativity and Innovation. So you could say that planning your ideal future is a creative act. It is a creative act. So let's celebrate it by getting our ideal futures out there. You don't have to share them yet, not today, not tomorrow. Maybe you will choose to share them soon, but you decide when that is. So let's just get them out there. Let's get them on paper. So International Creativity and Innovation Day. One of the things that affects our creativity is stress. So if we're feeling stressed that our life isn't going the way we want it to go, it's going to be very difficult to be creative. So we need to think about how do we manage stress. Now, stress management is one of my specialities. I work with mindfulness, as I said at the beginning, mindfulness, psychological therapies, and personal development. I use positive psychology to work all these together. So let's think about removing stress. Here's something really simple for you to try. When you feel stressed, take a deep breath in through the nose, if you can breathe okay through your nose. In through the nose, hold the breath, and gently push the breath out through your mouth. And repeat that cycle until you notice a positive feeling of change in your body. You will notice. So let's breathe in. For example, about 4 seconds, hold the breath for the same count, and breathe out for the same count, and repeat and repeat. Slow things down, because by slowing things down, you will slow down your thoughts and you will enable some clarity. And when you enable clarity, you begin to enable creativity. Now that is a very short version of a longer process. But we've got to start somewhere, right? So let's start with breathing. So next time something stressful comes up, stop, breathe, keep the cycle going until you feel the change, and then continue. You can do that at any time. Be careful if you're driving. Focus on the driving. So just think about it. So how do we help? That is Patience Murevi, Wired for Success Group, and I. How do we help with creating ideal futures? Well, I've already mentioned psychological therapy. I've mentioned mindfulness, and I've mentioned coaching, personal development. So as coaches, we enable people to see clearly where they need to go and how they need to get there. It's not our job to tell you where you need to go and how you need to get there, but we can certainly enable you to see the ways that are open. Okay. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Maybe it will be me, maybe it'll be Patience and me, maybe it'll be Patience. Who knows? Let's see. Have a great week. Be creative.